Okay, so today, tonight, it's nighttime. I wanted to go through some Photoshop stuff. So people have asked me about Photoshop, and like, what are some easy ways to fix photos and stuff like that. So one of the things that I've done is I've made this basic adjustment actions available. I give it to Hannah, and I didn't call it that. I can't remember what it's called, but what you do is you just double click on this, and what happens is Photoshop opens up, and it gives you access to the window actions. And they're not there, so I didn't click on it. That's why. Double click. There they are. Okay. So they're called these totally rad actions. You can click there to collapse them or bring them out. And you got history, you got actions, but you got all this junk over here you don't need. So what I usually do is I just get rid of it. Um, I get rid of all that, and I kind of build this myself. And I mostly use the history right here and the actions. All right, and I'll show you what these actions do. Some of them are cool. Some of them, I'd encourage you to just experiment with them. Okay, this photo is one that needs to work. So this is the full photo. First of all, crop tool over here. Click this so it says original ratio because that'll constrain the proportions. So you're only able to crop to what the original photo was, and that's just good practice as far as what's expected when people are designing pages and stuff like that. They expect the original ratio of a photograph, not like a square crop or some really kind of weird crop. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to crop so you have some leadway on the head and the feet, not super close because, and the reason why is because you want to give like Yearbook the ability to be able to play with the placement within the page, within the spot, and that's important. So I'll go, I'll crop this pretty closely. The center of interest is the guy right there with the ball. About to stiff arm this dude. This dude's coming for tackle. Cool photo. I'll double click. That's my new crop. View, fit on screen, or control +0 and I'm on Windows, so it's a little different for Mac. His face is too dark, so what I'll do, and there's a million different ways to use Photoshop. All right, I'm showing you the basics, the very easiest basics. I'm gonna go to adjustments, levels. All right, and I'm gonna bring this slider in, brighten everything up. This right here though burns the back of his jersey out, and that's gonna print a little weird. So we're gonna brighten it, and then we're gonna bring the mid-tones in. That's too much, obviously. We gotta find a happy balance. Right about right there. Press OK. Now this is becoming a much better photograph, right? It's a little cool, I think. So this is where those actions come in. So you can go here to play, or you go to Window, Actions. And there are two actions that really control how the photographs are cool or warm. We're going to warm this one up, so I'm going to go to Warm It Up Chris, press play. That's better. Actually, that's not bad. And I'm going to lower that, though. So I'm going to go to Layers. Every time you use one of these actions, it creates a layer, which is great because you click on the layer. It's already selected here. And you lower the opacity of it. This is 0, so that's the original 100%. We're going to go down right. I'm going to find a happy medium right around there. Okay. And I think we have a better photograph. It's not perfect. We could probably add some contrast or something, but I think this is pretty good. Because it's a Photoshop, or we did an action, Photoshop put a layer on it. It'll try to save as a Photoshop layer. And what you want to do on anytime you do an edit to a JPEG is you want to save as, because you always want to keep the original image. The original image is the best quality. So I'll save this as, and instead of Photoshop, I'm going to choose JPEG, right? And I'll save usually I'll do this. You guys know how you want to name things, and I'll say edit 1, right? Normally I would save that, but I'll just keep it. But this is the final photograph, at least for now. But I'll show you, this is what we started with. That's what we ended with. And that's a pretty extreme difference, right? This is another photograph. I think this one is going to be, because you have better light, the more you manipulate it, the easier the photo takes it. The green and the other one kind of makes it harder to crop. So what I'm going to say is that we're going to crop this um, the original ratio, so you can see how it's trying to do a horizontal, but if you go up, it's going to be vertical. I'm going to take that over, and I'm gonna crop it like that. All right, you want to see how high they're jumping. You know what? Let's do a better crop. We're gonna crop out that ref. Not too, like something like that. Keep them right there. And then I'm gonna go to image adjustments, levels. Let's go to curves this time. It's another way to adjust things. And what we can do is we can mess around. Boom. That's a little bit too much. You want to find a medium. This is the same thing as levels, but it gives you a little bit more power, a little bit more control. I can adjust things on that end, make the contrast. That's a lot better. See the punch? Who cares about the sky? Blow the sky out. You want these guys to look great. You know, I think that's pretty decent. And if you go to the original versus that, or the, see the difference? You can see their faces more. They pops a lot more. And I think the color is pretty decent. I wouldn't mess around with that. This one's mostly a crop. Crop in probably about right there. Gonna get the bottom of this dude's feet. No awkward crops. And let's put him right. He's running this way, so let's give him a little bit more weight that way. Double click, and let's image adjustments curves. Let's increase that contrast. That's cool, man. It's a good photograph. Mess around. I'm not too worried about the brightness here. You want to control it, but it's not too bad. See how my brightness is changing. Press OK. It's decent. That's that. Okay, much better photograph. It pops a lot more. This one's going to be tough. You can see all the grain, and that might be a problem. Let's go ahead and crop it first. Cool photo. Very nice. I like that. It's really grainy. It's a little blurry. This might be a problem. We don't want to be here. And here's what's going to happen. If we go to image adjustments, levels, or curves, if you start to adjust this, the grain's getting out of control. You can see those weird, harsh grain patterns. You want to be careful with that. This might be pretty much as good as we can get this photograph. The grain, the Mark III is a great camera, but the grain is not great, and probably should be used mostly in great light. We just have multiple photographers wanting to shoot sports. This is still a good photograph. It would still print really well. It's a really good photograph that would print really well. We just can't adjust it too much. This one is blurry, and but it's not bad. The biggest thing I wanted to show you guys on this one, you want to be able to get this guy is interacting with him, right? He's looking directly at him, so you got to make sure you get those guys. So on this photograph, I'm going to crop it there. I'm going to go to view, fit on screen. And you can tell it's a little bit blurry. But the biggest problem is that the color balance is off. It's really blue. So I'm going to go to those actions that I installed, the Totally Rad. I'm going to go to warm it up. Warm it up crisp. Press play. Much better. I mean, that by itself, look at the difference in that photograph. Before, after. Before, after. You'll start to develop a sense of when things are cool or not. Way too blue, way too cool. Much more natural, right? That's the kind of photograph you guys are looking for. This is a great photograph right out of the box. We don't need to crop it. And so the only thing we need to do is really, let's go to adjustments, curves. Let's get that curve going. We'll make it pop a lot more. Pretty good. We'll warm it up a little bit. Might be too warm, so we'll go to layers. We'll lower that. 0. Much better. Right? So we're looking at, that's the original to what I would edit it as. Right? Quite a bit better. And guys, I'm making quick edits here. These are taking me, a few minutes, and I'm even taking longer because I'm talking to you. So you're gonna get better at it. You're gonna edit your photos more. You're looking for color balance that looks real. Warm color is generally pretty good. You're looking at sharpness, you're looking at brightness, right? All these things that you can do in editing. So this is the same thing. I probably won't crop this, and I'm going to brighten it. Image adjustments, curves. You guys can get used to the hotkeys, right? Let's adjust this. And we're working, guys. Our cameras are working hard. These lighting situations are bad. There's a lot of grain here, but you don't really mind the grain, okay? I know it's rough on his arms. Not a big deal. I'd much rather, though, still see his face. So even though there's more green in this photograph, right? This one's darker. This one's way better because you can actually see him. And for most people, they connect emotionally with the photographs. We are very technical when we're going through these. Like, we're like, oh, that's too much grain. Most people don't say that stuff in those terms. They don't even know how to pronounce it. Or not how to pronounce it. They don't know what that is. And so they're happy with this because they'd much rather see the face than worry about grain. Most people don't even care. This is a really good photograph that's way better because we adjusted the curves, adjusted the levels. Like I said, there's more stuff you can mess with. The O snap is kind of cool. If we took this photograph and we did the O snap, it'd be too much, I know, but you can see what it does. Extreme contrast. That's kind of cool though. Go to the layers. If you click the eye, it'll take it away. Gosh, that's pretty sweet. That might have worked. Might be a little bit too much, but still, it's good. One thing I would consider is, I said before, never overwrite the original. Because if you do this and you're like, yeah, that's cool, and it is, you want to be able to go back to the original if you want to do fine adjustments. So keep the original, make your edits, and then, keep your edits as a different file, right? Go to Save As, because that's actually pretty sweet. That's a great shot, Olivia. But this is like the basic way I do my photographs. They're really quick in Photoshop. I don't spend a lot of time on them. Some people would say you can go in and do some vignettes. You darken the edges and stuff like that. I generally don't do that. In journalism, we don't want to do that. For what we do, we want to keep the photographs as you're just trying to make them as realistic as possible, making them pop, and making them more interesting to your audience. So I hope this was interesting and good for you guys. This is a lot of fun. I like doing these videos. I'm going to wrap sometime. So peace out.